Hey, well, let me ask you a question. How many of you think or wish really that the A in AI standard for automation? I totally get it. I'll be honest with you. Like I tell a lot of people these days, I really thought at this particular moment we'd have more universal tools, acceptance, products that actually automated some of our daily functions and some of our stuff. And don't get me wrong, it is there. But I'm going to tell you, to be honest, right now, I wouldn't focus on the automation, especially if you're new with AI. I would really start thinking about some other baseline products out there or some baseline thinking to get in place. And here's why. It our our tools of the trade right now are great. But if we do not know how to get there or what to do, it can't work. If we don't have the right path, just to give you an example, I was driving the other day and I had the basically the autopilot on in the car. And it was great. And it would change lanes and it would do great things. But here's where the problem came in. The problem came in when we were at a couple different junctures. One, we changed state lines. The rules changed. I wasn't aware of that. So I didn't know there were certain things I had to be doing that my state doesn't require. Also, construction became an issue, things like that I wasn't aware of. But more importantly, the system itself did not have all the roads mapped out. Makes it interesting. And the problem with that is, much like what we do here, is if we don't have those roads mapped out for us, that automation becomes quite literally pointless. We can't move quick enough. We're going to go in the wrong direction. Really, luckily enough, the way the tools are built with the safety mechanism for when I was driving, it just made me grab the steering wheel again. But you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you can actually automate the activity. You want to make sure all the defined outlines are in place, which really means I need you to have a better understanding of what AI can do for you today and really identify that goal, that path, that endpoint that we need to have in place there. So what you're starting to see some people do, and I'm starting to see some fail points in here, is automating some of the more simpler processes. I'll give you a good example towards the end because I really do like what I'm seeing with some. But when you're just trying to do some of those auto emails, right? Gmail has been great at this for a long time where they have these comment responses. And if you just click on one, that's great. It'll be effective. It may not be desirable, right? Also, I've seen a lot of people start automating some follow-ups, right? Some things that they're doing and doing the process out there. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but the problem with automating those follow-ups is we are not verifying, checking, and fact-checking what it was doing was correct. And that becomes a problem. And then as well as what we want to make sure we're doing is not removing the factors that we should have in place when we are making decisions for our business. So the question I need you to ask first is, I want you to ask what you can automate, right? And I was at a conference a while back, and I will tell you the thing that stuck in my mind for this, and I do want to relay this because I thought this was so well said, is you want to automate like one of your biggest pain points, not all of them, one of your biggest pain points. And because the reason you want to automate a big pain point is you can remove that, right? You get common questions all the time. Well, maybe you can get them into, instead of going to an FAQ page, maybe it's a chat box, which is the example I was going to give you that I love, that you can come in there and do that. It'll give you the responses. It comes in place, answers those questions, or directs them to wherever they need to find that answer. And I think that's a great use. Now, automations can be much broader than that, but the reason why you want to do just one is once you figure out one, you're going to be able to duplicate it from then on and keep moving forward in that place. So not everything needs AI intervention. Some things actually need a human judgment. Those things that need human judgment context that's in place doesn't belong in AI yet. But what you want to do is take those routine tasks, those things that you, again, FAQs, I think is a great example. Those things we get all the time that we can remove from this conversation. This helps alleviate one of those pain points that you have, that you can move on and then do the things that matter for you that require human judgment context that can't be duplicated quite yet by AI. So how do we look at this? Where does this stay? How do I decide between AI and that? Look at it from an accountability, ownership, and judgment perspective, right? Accountability. AI can assist me with some of the analysis, some of the recommendations, but it should never replace me from the accountability of outcomes, right? I should not say this is going to do that and just go do it. It's got to be on me to get those results done. I need to make the phone calls. I need to send the emails out. I need to go to the gym and exercise, right? These accountabilities are for that, because those are the ownerships that I have to have. We as people, we as leaders will still always need to own our outcomes. And that's where that comes into place. AI will help mitigate those processes, but it will not be there. And always please make sure that when you're doing this, your judgment in place is one of those things that you're controlling. So why does this matter? Why were you looking at this? I know a lot of folks in organizations, brokerages, teams are looking for automation, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would come together. I would make sure you are identifying, again, those pain points, those conversations, because you want to be able to have a simple process. This is going to help you remove that confusion. That way, when you get into the AI, it does the task at hand, it goes and does the job and moves forward. It also will eliminate any potential team misalignment, because if they're doing something and they're working on it together, you heard me in my last video talk about this, consistency matters. And if we're not following the same path, even specifically with automations and AI, you're going to get conflict, you're going to get duplications, you're going to get very ineffective processes in the team. It's going to make the team a lot more ineffective than ever. So really make sure when you're doing this that you get in a meeting, you identify, again, those pain points. You can identify one pressure point, pain point that you want to solve. Make sure the team comes to an understanding of how it needs to be solved, what tools it may need to use, where it needs to go, stuff like that. And it will, hopefully with all of that stuff, it'll remove the confusion, it will remove the alignment, and better, it will remove that organizational chaos. Because I do think, for my friends that run teams, organizations, associations, things like that, AI can be a wonderful pressure reliever for us all to get this done, freeing up time, especially for groups like associations that I work with a lot. You will see that a lot of these are based on costs and budgets, are very thinly staffed, and AI can remove a lot of those pressure points. But if you do not take those steps ahead of time, it's going to really mess you up. So again, just as a reiteration, let's define what matters most. Let's establish the accountability, who's going to do what, how's it going to be built. Build those metrics. Make sure the AI tools out there are going to be able to do it. What does it look like? What does success look like? And then be very specific and intentional about what you're using for this. I think these are all very good. Now, there are tools out there in place that do some of these automations, and that's great. But until you know what you're trying to solve, you don't even know what tool to go use, right? As an example, again, I was at an AI association conference not too long ago, and there was 20 vendors, and they were great vendors. But these vendors all supported different solutions, had different problems they were doing, and it was fine. But if I tried to pick them all, I would have created more organizational chaos than I would have relieved it. So please make sure when you're doing this, you're going from that perspective. and understand when you're doing this, AI is extremely powerful, but it does not replace us. It does not replace our organizations, our leaderships within inside that. It rewards clarity, ownership, and responsibility. The most successful AI implementations aren't driven by technology capabilities. They are driven by us, by our direction, our clarity. So let's get clear on what's going on in our tools. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell wherever you're at, like whatever. Put comments. Tell me what pain points you, your team, your organizations are fighting right now with AI and what you thought automation is going to do for you. Because even though AI does not start with automation, it will end with automation and it will be prevalent in 2026.